Over the years, WWE has had to deal with a ton of controversy. Sometimes things just happen that are out of their control, while other times the WWE brings controversy upon themselves. These controversial moments make for some of the best storylines in the business, but other times they are met with a negative reaction. Some moments in WWE history are so bad that they must be swept under the rug, so here are 10 things WWE pretends never happened. Good old Gene Snitsky making his appearance on another of my list. Snitsky had a strong debut against Kane, which unexpectedly led to a feud between the two. The rivalry got heated when Snitsky pushed Kane into his pregnant girlfriend Lita, forcing her to miscarry. This led to the infamous baby incident. Snitsky came out with a baby to torment Lita, who had just lost hers. After repeatedly telling the baby to shut up and refusing to hand over the child, Snitsky punted the baby into the crowd. No, it wasn't a real baby, it was a doll, but this was still a controversial yet hilarious moment. Goldberg was one of the most dominant superstars to come out of WCW, and when he finally made it to WWE in 2003, everybody was hoping he would become one of the company's top guys. He showed his dominance by quickly becoming a headliner and won the World Heavyweight Championship from Triple H. He was an awesome addition to the roster, but sadly, things just weren't working out for him on a personal level. Goldberg had numerous issues behind the scenes and didn't like how the company was operating, so after a terrible match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 20, he left the company. Nowadays, WWE rarely ever mentions his name. Daniel Bryan's loss to Sheamus at WrestleMania 28 is a more recent moment in history that WWE doesn't want to speak of. Before he was the megastar he went out as, Daniel Bryan was a heel World Heavyweight Champion who jobbed to Sheamus on the grandest stage of them all, being defeated in a mere 18 seconds. Many people were disappointed with what had occurred due to Bryan being one of the more talented guys on the roster. At the time, it was the shortest match in WrestleMania history, but WWE attempted to bury this moment by having The Rock beat Eric Rowan in just 6 seconds at WrestleMania 32. One of the most controversial gimmicks in WWE history, Muhammad Hassan was an Arab-American wrestler who exhibited many traits that related to extremism. One can imagine how his character would be offensive to many Arabic viewers and even Americans. Yes, it was a bad gimmick, but it was still kind of acceptable until an episode of SmackDown in 2005. Hassan unleashed 5 men wearing black clothing to beat down on The Undertaker. Let's be real here, the men closely resembled the image of terrorists. Just 3 days after this incident, the London bombings occurred. This led to demands that Hassan be taken off the air, which ultimately led to his character being scrapped. The infamous Katie Vick angle was absolutely disgusting, and it's no surprise that WWE refrains from ever acknowledging it. Triple H and Kane were feuding way back in 2002, and the storyline dictated that Kane had possibly killed his girlfriend, Katie Vick, who supposedly died in a car crash. Yes, Kane was quite the player back in the day. Anyways, the feud got heated and Triple H ended up visiting the deceased. This is where Hunter decided to put on a Kane mask and molest the corpse. Yes, this storyline involved necrophilia on live television, and stands out as one of the most disturbing story angles in history. The Stone Cold Brian Pillman incident is one of the craziest things ever seen on live television. The two were longtime friends, but when Pillman made it to the WWE, things changed and the two began to feud. Things escalated to the point where Stone Cold broke Pillman's ankle, which left him unable to leave his own home. In November of 1996, Austin decided to go to his rival's house to finish it, but that's when things went south. Pillman pulled out a 9mm pistol on Austin. This was followed by frantic yelling and screaming, with many initially thinking Stone Cold had been shot. This got the WWE in quite a bit of trouble, and they later apologized for it. Vince McMahon had been a great character on screen for WWE, being one of the best heels in history. However, McMahon made the choice a few years back to make his transition to a mostly behind-the-scenes role, and he decided the best way to do this was to kill himself. At the end of an episode of Raw in 2007, Vince got into his white limo, only for it to suddenly combust and explode. This was extremely unexpected, and the local police even got calls from WWE fans reporting the explosion. Of course, this was part of the storyline. However, it was all interrupted when the real-life death of a WWE superstar, who we'll talk about later, forced Vince to come back to host a tribute show. Hulk Hogan is a legend. There's simply no denying it. He helped put the WWE on the map and will forever be an icon in the industry. However, the Hulkster has gotten himself into a bit of trouble as of late, forcing the WWE to take a step back. Not only did the recent sex tape scandal taint his image forever, but Hulk was also fired after blatantly racist comments. He was caught using the N-word in a very derogatory manner, but still claims he isn't racist. Hulk was awarded $140 million in damages over his sex tape, so I don't think he cares if WWE wants him back or not, but the company sure tries to avoid any talks of his transgressions. The tragic death of Owen Hart is another thing the WWE plays off as if it never happened. In 1999, at a live WWE pay-per-view, Owen was making his entrance via zipline to the ring. However, the mechanism failed and Owen fell almost 80 feet to the ground, unfortunately killing him. The show, however, did controversially go on, during which Jim Ross announced that Owen had died from the fall. Owen was given a tribute the next night on Raw, and his family was awarded $18 million in 2000. However, the superstar, let alone the tragedy, has never been mentioned since. This also means Owen hasn't been inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. Chris Benoit was a truly great wrestler who has been completely wiped away by the WWE. In 2007, Benoit murdered both his wife and 7-year-old son before taking his own life. The double murder-suicide shocked both the WWE and the world. A full 3-hour tribute show was dedicated to Chris just after his death, but after the circumstances of it were released, WWE went on the defensive. They completely erased any trace of Chris Benoit from history, including his crowning achievement of winning the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 20. Yes, he did commit unspeakable acts, but I do feel bad that the company refuses to acknowledge his brilliant career inside of the ring. And those are 10 things WWE likes to pretend never happened. How do you feel about this list? Have anything else that belongs on here? Let me know down below. As always, thank you for watching.